Hey, we're gonna go through some lower body stretches, working out the hips and working out the lower back. If you are experiencing any pain in your lower back, it's typically it is your lower back working, those lower back muscles working. We're getting into places that we may have not gotten into before, and also your hips get super tight, so you wanna stretch those out as well. So we're gonna start coming down to all fours. We're gonna make sure that the weight is in between the front finger and the thumb of your hand on both sides. You're really just evening it out. Your hips are straight. We're gonna push our stomach down, opposite of arching our back. Chest comes up, and then we round our back. So we're just working out that spine, stretching out the front body, stretching out the sides. This will really help loosening up some of those muscles. We're gonna start with some cat-cows, come down and up. Once you feel good, warmed up, we're gonna come back down. Your legs are gonna stay straight behind you, and we're gonna come back down into a child's pose. So don't bring your toes together, coming back, really stretching it out. And then we're gonna pull forward and push our hips into the ground. So like that upward facing dog, you're really just going to push forward and look up, really feeling it in the front of our hips here. Stretch it up, and then come back into that child's pose. Come forward, rocking back and forth. Again, just opening up those hips. Like this dynamic movement gets them nice and loose, so we'll stretch that lower back out in just a minute. Give me a couple more.
She does know.
And back. And forward. All right, so from this upward facing dog, we're gonna come into a plank here. You're gonna bring that right foot forward and drop that back knee behind you. Lifting up, you're gonna put your hands on the top of your knee, really stretching out right here. You're gonna leaning in and letting those muscles come out, stretch out. And then we're gonna pull it back, switch sides, so that left leg comes forward, right leg comes back. I'll take my stretcher off so you can kind of see a little bit better how I move. Just pressing in, again, really opening up this hip here. You'll feel it, I feel it a little bit in my inner thigh here. That's because mine are very tight. But again, that release will also help release some of that lower back pain. Once you're come out of that, we're gonna roll onto our backs here. So you're gonna come down. Your legs are going to come a little wider than hip distance here. Make sure you can reach and touch your heels with your fingertips. Your head is going to come back down, and we're just going to rock those legs back side to side. It's okay if your back comes off the ground a little bit, arches. We're just going to stretch this out. This will help, again, warming those back muscles up so we can really get into a deep stretch here. So just rocking back and forth. It's also a nice little massage on your tailbone as you rock back and forth. And then come back through center. Bringing those knees up, you're gonna be 90 degrees together. You're gonna twist them to the right side. Your left arm is gonna go long. You're gonna look over, and your right arm is gonna go long. It doesn't really matter as much. You look over that left shoulder, really getting into that twist. Even helps open the chest up a little bit. And then we're going to come back through center, switching sides. Ooh, feeling the side is way tighter for me. So again, this will stretch that lower back, kind of the outer hip, looking over that right shoulder. Make sure your shoulder blades stay down on the floor and making sure your knees are stacked together. If you need to kind of lower that angle a little bit, that's fine. But then we're gonna bring your legs again back through center. Let's start with our left leg long. We bring it down to the ground. We take that right knee, we fold it over to that left side. Again, looking over that right shoulder. You should feel this right in your lower back, outer hip, and you put that hand on your knee. My toe touches on this side, on the other side you know it does not. So if your foot is kind of floating in the air a little bit, that's okay. Looking over that shoulder, stretch it out. Coming back through center, bring that right leg straight out, bring that left leg in. Grab your left knee and bring it over to that right side. Again, twisting open to the left. Again, my foot does not touch the ground here where it did on my right, but that's okay. Just looking over that side, stretch it out. Coming back through center. We're gonna bring our knees up again. We're gonna rock back and forth, just like we did before. Stretching out, warming up. We're gonna do a couple more twists. So roll it up. You're gonna come to a seated position, legs straight out. We're gonna lift up and over. So again, moving from those hips, moving from that pelvic floor, reaching up. We're gonna fold, leading with that chest, moving from your hips, come down. It's okay if you cannot touch your toes. Wherever your hands fall, just let your hands fall, stretch it out, leaning over, letting that lower back stretch out and release. You should feel this in the back of your legs. It should feel really good. We're gonna roll it up. You're gonna take that right leg, you're gonna bring it up and bring it over to the opposite side of your left knee. You're then going to swim your hands back around, so you look over that right shoulder and with your left hand on the outside of the right leg. Look over your shoulder, let that twist. You should feel this in the outer thigh here as well. Again, you're twisting open. You should feel it in your spine, your back here. And then release and go through the other side. Ooh, cracked my back on this one. Again, this side is so much more tight than my other, so I like to stay here for a little bit longer, looking over that left shoulder. So again, whatever side's a little tighter, you can always stay there a little bit longer or go back to it. Just stretch it out. And release. Then we're gonna come up, lifting out of your hips and fold. Again, letting your back kind of open up, folding forward wherever your hands lie. So they could be up by your knees, that's okay. Just make sure you're pushing your shoulders down away from your ears. You're reaching out towards your feet, your heels, your toes. It'll release some of the tension in the back of your legs, your hamstrings, which will also help stretch out that back and release some of that tension in the back. Rolling up. We're gonna bring our legs in for a butterfly. So again, it's okay if your heels are down away from your bum. Whatever is easiest for you. You're gonna take your elbows, they're gonna come on the outside of those shins. Leading with your chest, you're gonna bring your chest down towards the floor. It's okay if it doesn't come anywhere close. Mine does not. Again, you're gonna stretch the inner thighs out here, your hip flexors, all that good stuff, also creating a little bit of relief in that lower back. By leading with your chest, having your chest up, and it's okay if you can't come this low, by having your chest up, you're again alleviating some of that back, elongating that spine.
At minimum,
hold here. Release. One of my favorites that we're going to end with. You're going to come back through on your hands and knees. Your toes come together behind you, your legs come wide. So it's this weird, I don't know, position. Leading with your hips, you're going to sit back onto your heels and lower into that nice little child's pose. Again, I like to reach my arms forward, active arms, stretching, pulling out of my armpit. and then my head comes down, hangs heavy. This for legs. This also stretches it out, again, pulling those back muscles, providing a little bit of relief. Also, option here, if you want to kind of get in a little bit further, you can bring that head up and again, pushing that chest down to the floor. It's okay if your butt comes off of your heels, mine does. Again, I can use some flexibility. And that's all I got for you for kind of some lower back relief, some quick stretches. Again, making sure that you're stretching those thighs, making sure that you're stretching your outer hips, because that will also really help with some of that tension back there. Glute bridges, quad rockers, what we did in the beginning, cat cows, those are all really, really good for that lower back relief. And they're nice and dynamic, so it does get those warm. It does help with warming up the muscles to either do an exercise or do some more stretching, because you can get a little bit deeper in there. I hope this was helpful. I hope you feel a little bit better. Thanks.